Hey guys, what's up, Cyphon here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to actually mod out your Warframes. Now this is different for every Warframe, but I'm kind of just going to be explaining how you can make the most of your mods whenever you're leveling your Warframe up, how to manage them, and things like that. So I'm only going to use the free frames that we first have at the beginning. We're going to look at their abilities, break them down, what affects them in that type of way, and how they can be used like within the game. So it's kind of going to let you take a look at the free frames that you would have. If you're following this step-by-step guide like to the book, then you're going to want to know how to effectively use the mods that you get and what Warframes you should be putting them on. We're also going to be looking at weapon choices as well. So we'll start off with our Excalibur Warframe. Now, the way I have them modded right now is I have my energy siphon. Some of you guys may not have this, and you may have like more corrupted mods than I have, or you may have higher or lower ranked mods, or you might not even have some of these mods yet because the game's mainly focused around RNG. So I'm just gonna be showing you guys like how I've modded these Warframes out for how far I've gotten into the game. This could be used in the voids, but you really need to get those fusion cores to level these mods up just a little more so you can go on the voids and just it'll be a breeze. But okay, so we have our D polarity, which means we can put on one high rank defense mod. That's obviously going to be, you're not going to die as much because you're a lower level. You're not going to have really strong weapons, so not dying, you're going to spend more time shooting enemies saying your weapons aren't doing as much damage. So if you can soak up a little more damage, that's going to be good. So I have redirection on and a vitality on. Really, it doesn't matter which one of these you have on. I would recommend vitality over redirection because enemies can do the slash procs on you, which makes your health go down. So in most case scenarios, I'd use vitality over redirection. But there is other options out there which you can't really use yet. So that's why I don't use these two mods on most of my builds in game later on. Anyway, okay. But we're going to take a look at Excalibur's abilities. So if we press the R2 button, we can look at his abilities. We already know what they are. They all have like damage numbers. Well, Slash Dash has a damage number, and some of his abilities do actually do damage. Now, as I was saying, Excalibur's going to get reworked. If you're a veteran player, you can go in and you can look at the build that I recommend for the Excalibur rework. So I do have one of those videos there. I'll link it in the description below if you want to look at a completely finished Excalibur build. But yeah, okay, Slash Dash is not an ability that is useful in the game as much as his Radial Blind ability and Radial Javelin ability. Now, Radial Blind is a stun. So basically, you put your sword up, you stun all the enemies around you. Power Duration is what is going to keep the enemy stunned for longer. So if you have any mods that adds to your duration, I recommend putting those on, because then the enemies are going to stay stunned for longer. Now, Excalibur's abilities have a pretty long casting time, and if you go a few episodes back, I showed you guys how to get this mod called Natural Talent. You max that up, or rank it up completely, and you're going to be casting those abilities very fast. So I put that there on. Super Jump, we don't use, whatever. Radial Javelin. Radial Javelin is based on Power Strength, so any mods that do plus Power Strength, you're going to want to put those on. So Blind Rage, or Intensify, or Transient Fortitude, if you guys have any of those. I put all three of those in my final Excalibur builds without the rework. So if you're watching this before the rework, if you have those free mods, definitely put those on. But after the rework, you're going to want to keep some more duration on your Excalibur. So it's going to be a balance between Power Strength and Power Duration, and then throwing in some of the efficiency in there as well. Efficiency makes it so that your abilities cost less to cast, and you always want as much efficiency as possible on most of your Warframes. Blind Rage does minus efficiency, but that's not like the biggest deal ever, because you're still going to be getting some efficiency from your Streamline mod and Floating Expertise mod. So we take a look at those mods on our Excalibur, how I've got it set up here. We have our Blind Rage, which gives me more strength, which means I'm going to be doing more damage. We have our Streamline and Floating Expertise. Again, this is the efficiency, so we can cast it fast. And we have Power Strength on here for the more strength. Okay, so dealing damage in a particular area, like the enemies that are surrounding us, it's all nice and dandy, but we're going to want to put on some mods which make that cover a wider area, so we're not just like wasting energy basically by using it and then not hitting as many enemies as possible. So we can throw on this mod right here. This is stretch, and we can take off vitality and throw on overextend it. Now that minuses my strength, but again, if you have the blind rage, transient fortitude, and intensify, and you get those completely maxed out, you're not gonna get it completely maxed out on your Excalibur right now. But that's gonna, compensate for the minus strength, and you'll see that there in the actual build of Excalibur whenever I post the actual build videos. Is the mods all compensate for each other, so you have a nice sort of mixture of all these abilities being useful, and they're all really useful in one way or another. So that's basically it. So if we take a look right now, I have a power strength of 156, power range of 137, and power efficiency of 170. In a way, that's good, because I can spam my abilities a lot, deal moderate damage, and deal it in a moderate range. So that's a pretty good Excalibur build right there, just for the starting. So if you're to go into like a T1 survival or something, then you'd be able to use your abilities and it'd be useful. The reason we don't have a lot of duration, the only abilities that are going to affect is radio blind. They won't be stunned as long, but you can still stun them for a certain amount of time to get away. And slash dash and super jump, they're just crap abilities, so I wouldn't use those. But yeah, the same kind of goes for mag, okay? If we go on the mag here, we have our fleeting expertise maxed out, so it costs less. We've got our streamline maxed out, so it costs less. Natural talent to speed this up. This is optional mag. You don't really need this. Redirection for the shield, because she has a really high amount of shields. If you put on the redirection, she has about 800 shields, I think. I don't know if you can see it. 870 with this redirection on it, can go over 1000. Blind Rage. This is for her strength. Now this will affect her abilities known as Pull and Shield Polarize and Crush. So the three abilities that you're going to be using, these are really spammy abilities. The more shield, the more shield strength. The more power strength that you have on your Warframe, the more shield that it will restore on mag and all your friends as well, and the more shield that it will drain on the enemies as well. So you're going to be, there you go, ability multiplier. So your power range and power strength is displayed there. So you're going to be like minusing, or it's going to be like a multiplier where it drains the shield. You'll see whenever you get like the build complete, but it will be able to get to a point where it drains all the shield off the enemies, and I actually have a build like that, which I'm going to be showing you guys in a advanced guide, I guess you could call it. I'd say advanced builds, we'll call it that, I guess, something like that. I'll come up with a name for it, and you'll see it uploaded to the channel. But yeah, so same thing goes. You want to have a balance between efficiency mods, strength mods, and range mods. You don't necessarily have to have overextend on. I mean, if you max out stretch, that would be enough. But yeah, you don't have to completely max out your range. It's not necessary for the lower levels, but whenever you get into a higher level, if you want to stand in one position and hold off an area, I mean, like using those abilities to just keep that room that you're standing in completely clear. I mean, you're affecting anyone or everything in that room is really good, because you're saving energy but you're dealing widespread damage. So that's pretty much mag. Now Rhino is somewhat different in a way, but somewhat the same. Now if we take a look at Rhino's abilities actually first, Rhino is he's a mixture between defensive and offensive. Rhino Charge don't use Iron Skin. Very good defensive ability. Basically, whenever you put it up, you cannot take any side effects, so poison damage, slash damage, anything like that there, it won't affect you. And Iron Skin soaks up all the damage that is incoming to you. And the amount of damage that you can soak up, you may think, like I thought at the start whenever I started playing Warframe, that would be affected by duration, but it's actually affected by power strength. So the more power strength you have on Rhino, the more damage you're going to be able to soak up. Now Roar is an ability where it buffs the amount of damage you do, and it does it to all Warframe players in the area. So if you use that there and then you have teammates beside you, they're going to get this buff as well. So the more power strength you have on, the more damage that it's going to give you. But you also have to take into consideration the duration of the ability and the range of the ability as well, because you don't want to have it too small so then your teammates get the bonus, but you want to have it so you can cast it easy, so you can cast it with very little energy, but you can extend for a decent duration, and it's giving you a decent boost in the strength as well. and it has a decent range to affect it. So it's all about what you're kind of catering for here. You get to choose what you want. Would you rather have a really high number? Would you rather give it the boost to all teammates? Would you rather it lasted longer? Something like that. Personally, I would just, get a really high number out of it, so I put as much strength on it as possible. The efficiency can be made up for, so just whatever it may be whenever you put Streamline and Fleet and Expertise on, and then make up for that duration afterwards with continuity and mods like that there, which we haven't got yet, but we can, there's multiple ways to get it, so I'm probably going to be covering that in like a very near video. So Rhino Stomp is the next ability. It's kind of a crowd control ability. You stomp down, and based on your range, all the enemies in that area is going to be stunned. So range and efficiency and duration. The amount of duration bases on how long they stay in the air for after you stomp. You'll see a little timer on it whenever you use it. So it's kind of down to you what you want. Would you rather have a spammable Rhino Stomp so you can do it anytime enemies get in a pod? Would you rather have one that covers the whole room so you can go in, stomp your foot in the ground, and then kill all the enemies there with high duration? Something like that there. So it's kind of all up to what you need, but I'll be making build videos for you guys where you can kind of base your Warframe off those builds. So anyway guys, if you liked this video, please hit that like button below, and you want to see more content like this, please hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.